right, good evening. Good evening and Merry Christmas, everyone. We welcome you to Unity of Richmond's Candlelight service, and we welcome those of you who are also with us online. And welcome your families who are with you this evening. And it's great to be back back together in person for our holiday service. And so we will then just pause right now for an opening prayer, and then we'll begin our service. And so right here, right now, we just take this moment to breathe in and out and relax, let go of what has transpired before and what comes next, and we center ourselves right here and now as we celebrate the birth of the Christ, the nativity of Jesus. We are grateful for the meaning that it has for each of us, and for the meaning of this candlelight service that we take in as we light each candle. And so we join with all the other services that all in and all around Richmond and all around the world this evening as we celebrate and usher in Christmas Day. And for this, we generate from within our peace, our love, our joy, and our faith. And for this, we are grateful, and so it is. Amen.
And this is the lighting of the Christ candle. The Christ candle represents the Christ in all of us, our light, our divinity, and how we shine it into the world. And this Christmas, we who believe give thanks for the fulfillment of the promise of God. We give thanks for the birth of our wayshore, Jesus the Christ, and we welcome the birth of the Christ through us. And so it is. How beautiful, and thank you. And so I'm going to be talking about the 12 living lights. Reverend Kelly Isola created the candlelighting ceremony using the elements of the Christmas story. It is a way to remember the 12 powers of humankind as 12 living lights, always expressing, always unfolding. And so you'll see in the center the Christ light, which is symbolic also of the light in each of us, our own divinity. And then the 12 candles represent the different powers that we all have that are always unfolding in each of us as we turn within and develop our awareness of our own divinity. And so the candle lighters will come up and pick up the small candle out front, light it with the Christ candle, and then light their candle with the affirmation. I left our little lighter there too if we need it. The first candle is blue for the power of faith, representing Mary. Mary has a very special place in our hearts because she is the quintessential activity of faith. The angel Gabriel, a divine visitor, knocked on the door of her heart, asking her to do the impossible. The news probably brought some fear and filled her with questions. Yet the moment she stepped forward in faith and into the unknown, she opened herself to the future. She created a space within herself for the infinite possibilities to be born.
We light this candle to acknowledge our living light of faith, the light that calls us to forgive more fully and love more deeply. It calls each of us to be greater than we could have imagined. We light this candle to acknowledge our living light of faith, the light that calls us to live more fully and love more deeply.
It calls each of us to be greater than we could have ever imagined. And so it is. The second candle is light green for the power of strength, representing the shepherds. In the Gospel of Luke, the shepherds are tending to their sheep when the angels appear. They are doing what they have done for generations, watching over what is precious and necessary for life. They represent the enduring, living light of strength, the power and purity of steadfast preservation we embody as we navigate our own life. The shepherds are that voice within, reminding us that we are never alone.
We light this candle to acknowledge our living light of strength, the light that carries us through our joys and our sufferings. The light of strength allows us to watch over what is most precious in our own lives because we know God is everywhere present.
And this candle to acknowledge our living light of strength, the light that carries us through our joys and our sufferings. The light of strength allows us to watch over what is most precious in our lives, because we know God is everywhere present. The third candle is yellow for the power of wisdom, represented by the three wise men. In the time of Jesus, the Magi, which are the wise men, had wisdom by being in touch with another reality. When they had the vision of Jesus' birth, they chose to act on it, at great risk to their own well-being. The Magi represent our capacity to seek guidance and answers, and use the wisdom to create a world that works for all.
I invite you to read with me. We light this candle to acknowledge our living light of wisdom, the light that is the link between our divine and human nature. Wisdom directs us to act as love, compassion, joy, peace, and all divine ideas, bringing the invisible world into reality.
And the fourth candle is pink for the power of love, representing by the gifts of the Magi. In the Gospel of Matthew, the gifts of the wise men bring to Jesus are gold, frankincense, and myrrh, rare, precious, and priceless in Jesus' world. The Magi traveled from faraway nations and knelt before the Christ child as a sign of love and devotion. These gifts remind us that we are each worthy of giving and receiving the priceless gift of love and belonging.
I invite you all to read with me. We light this candle to acknowledge our living light of love. The light reminding us the Christmas story heralds the birth of a person who loved selflessly, and any person who loves in this way is fully alive with the gifts of the Magi.
And the fifth candle is purple.
I think we're going to sing first. Let's all stand up and sing the song. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Every nature sing.
How beautiful. Thank you, everyone. And now we'll move to the fifth candle, which is purple for the power of mastery, representing Bethlehem. In Hebrew, Bethlehem literally translates as the house of bread. In early Christianity, it began to mean the house of living bread, which we would call the power of truth. This power is the foundation on which we stand, infusing our words, thoughts, and deeds to transform the world.
Let us affirm together. We light this candle to acknowledge our living light of power, the light that is the embodiment of the Christ. We leave echoes of perfection when speaking words of truth. The power of our presence in the world is the greatest gift we can offer humanity.
Well, now, the sixth candle is light blue for the power of imagination, representing the Star of Bethlehem. In the Gospel of Matthew, the wise men were guided by the Star of Bethlehem to the newborn baby. It lit their path, allowing them to follow a way to the beginning of a new world. The star symbolizes our ability to imagine and envision a transformed world and follow that vision to express the Christ.
Join with me in reading. We light this candle to acknowledge our living light of imagination, the light we use to create and give shape to the sacred and to form God into what the world needs most: compassion, joy, love, courage, and peace.
The seventh candle is gold for the power of understanding, representing Joseph. Joseph, husband of Mary and father to Jesus, inspires us to view life through another's eyes. Joseph's character is strong and quiet, yet he has a desire to know the world in a more profound way, regardless of his challenges.
Please join me as we say, we light this candle to acknowledge our living light of understanding, the light that is our ability to stretch and see with new eyes, taking in all that is happening, not just with our senses, but with our hearts and minds. This spiritual understanding leads us to knowing the peace that surrounds all human understanding.
The eighth candle is silver for the power of will, representing the angel Gabriel. The angel Gabriel comes to Mary to let her know she will miraculously give birth to a child. Little did she know he would become a way-shower for the world on how to love, give, and forgive. The word angel means messenger from God. This divine visitor knocking on Mary's heart with a message that seems impossible reminds us that our angels represent the will of our higher self, leading and calling us to forgive more fully and love more deeply.
Okay, and together, we light this candle to acknowledge our living light of will, the light that is our willingness to say yes to which is calling us to be greater than we could ever have imagined.
The ninth candle is dark green for the power of order, representing the manger. The writer of Luke tells us that when Jesus was born, he was wrapped in cloth and laid in a manger. This is an extraordinarily humble beginning, yet this simple, often unseen barnyard trough is a symbol for that current of spiritual law that is ever present and always accessible.
We'll read together. We light this candle to acknowledge our living light of divine order, the light that is the naturally ordered, hidden current of life we are always aligning with in order to bring forth a world in a balanced and harmonious way.
The 10th candle is orange for the power of zeal, representing the heavenly hosts. The prophet Isaiah wrote that a child will be born, the Prince of Peace, and heavenly hosts will express the zeal of the Lord. In the Gospel of Luke, this heavenly host rings out of the song of Jesus' birth. And suddenly there was, with the angel, a multitude of heavenly hosts. A truly awe-inspiring image to represent the universal force that urges us to grow and enthusiastically move forward in life.
Please join me.
We light this candle to acknowledge our living light of zeal,
the light that is the inward fire of the soul, passionately springing forward to manifest our Christ nature here on earth.
The 11th candle is russet for the power of release, representing the prophets and King David. In Scripture, Jesus' lineage and connection to King David are highlighted, as are the prophets who foretold the coming of a Messiah. These characters show us that while our story matters, where, who, and what we came from, they also invite us to see what many need to let go of on our spiritual journey.
And please join me.
We light this candle to acknowledge our living light of release,
the light of surrendering to Spirit and releasing old thoughts, feelings, and experiences that are not for our highest good.
The 12th candle is red for the power of life, representing Jesus. Christmas comes at the darkest time of the year, the setting in which Jesus' birth stories were written. Is it any wonder, then, that we yearn for the rich language of light, luminous, blazing, glowing, illuminating, radiant, sparkling, shining, brilliant? Light is deep within us as the symbol of what is most sacred, divine, and alive. It is life itself.
Together,
We
Light this candle to acknowledge the living light of life, which is the expression of vitality, wholeness, and creativity, as demonstrated by Jesus. His birth and life remind us, show us, that we are infused with that same divine presence he embodied and have the power and potential to express the eternal activity of God in all things and in all ways.
Before we go on, I want to acknowledge all of our readers as we concluded this candle lighting portion of our service. And before we move on to our own candle lighting, I want to make sure everybody in the room has a candle. So will our ushers, there's a basket at the table. Will you raise your hand if you didn't get a candle when you came in? Because after the offering, which Armand is going to lead us with in a moment, we'll have a special selection, and I'd like our music director, Ian, to introduce our guest violinists before they play. And then Armand will bless the offering.
Repeat after me. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, for the joy of giving and receiving.
Hi, everybody. My name's Ian, if you don't know me. If you've been here in how many years have I been here now? Traditionally, I used to sing Ave Maria, but this year I wanted to bring a very special guest and friend of mine, Marissa Rasmini, an absolutely gorgeous violin player, and hope you like it.
Take a bow. Thank you. Beautiful. What a treat. What a treat it is to have children in the room and to have all your friendly faces. And thank you for the reminder. Yes, take the mask off. Well, this message this evening is going to be brief, and then we will do our mutual candle lighting, and we'll dim the lights, and we will light our lights together. I wanted to start out by sharing a poem with you by Sarah Garrett. She's a fellow student of my spiritual teacher, and this comes from her book, Simply Shine, and she wrote this in the fashion of, 'twas the night before Christmas, but this is, 'twas the week before Christmas, and all across the earth, many humans were preparing, some with joy and great mirth, to honor the birth of a being so bright that his life is still honored by many this night. While most have forgotten the depth of his love, it showers unending from above. The grace of his presence is a gift beyond measure, as he teaches compassion and simple treasure, that God's love is boundless, and that each of us is blessed with the miracle of eternal forgiving. So whatever your faith, your traditions, your belief, may you find yourself showered with a sense of great peace. As you rejoice in a time sacred and true, remember to always let God shine through you. In our candlelight ceremony that we just concluded, we just acknowledged how each part of the nativity story is an aspect of ourselves, and how each of these 12 living lights that are within us are ever developing and all a part of that great consciousness of oneness. And there are many people who don't know this or don't believe this. And even we at times forget. I remember the movie, It's a Wonderful Life. It's a long movie, 3 hours long. And after going through a lot of hardship, George Bailey, he forgot his worth, his inner light, which pushed him to the brink of jumping off a bridge into icy cold water. And then his guardian angel, Clarence, who was trying to earn his wings, came and saved George, pulled him out of the water. And George wasn't happy that Clarence saved him, and he said he wished he had never been born. So Clarence showed George Bailey what the world would be like had he not been born. This lesson helped George to see how he had made a difference in a lot of people's lives, and he got to see his own intrinsic worth. And after he saw the impact of his goodness on others, George asked Clarence for his messy life back. Because he knew in his heart that he was valuable, and that he had made a difference, and he would continue to make a difference in the world. Now, in the end, George's friends and family came forward when they heard of his struggle. They came forward to help him. And as Angel said, leaves George the message, no man is a failure who has friends. We each have the unique path of discovering our own divine nature. We do it together with our family, our friends, our co-workers, everyone in the world that we encounter. Because everyone shows us some lesson, and they are they're in some way our healing angels. Now, I was having a conversation at one time with some other Unity people at convention or at a conference, and some people would ask, is Unity Christian? And one person answered it this way: we are John 14:12 Christians. Aramaic Bible in plain English, John 14:12 says, "Timeless truth, I tell you, whoever believes in me, those works which I have done, he will also do, and he will do greater works than these, because I am going to the presence of my Father." If you believe in this divine essence called the Christ, the light of God indwelling, our source, our creator, and if you believe that light is in everything as the universal Christ, then you know that that power that Jesus demonstrated is available to us, as he told his followers, his disciples. And as light bearers who have awakened to this truth, it is up to us to shine that light. Matthew 5:14 says, "You are the light of the world." You are the light of the world. You cannot hide a city that is built up on a mountain. And they do not light a lamp and set it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it gives light to all those who are in the house. Thus your light will shine before the children of men, that they may see your good works and may glorify your Father who is in heaven. You can replace the word Father with source, with God, with principle, with divine mind. So in a moment, we're going to light our own lights in the house. We're going to dim our house lights, and we are going to light our candles and sing Silent Night. We'll start humming it before we do. But I want to conclude with the words of George Bernard Shaw, a poem called Splendid Torch. He said this: "This is the true joy in life, the being used for a purpose, recognized by yourself as a mighty one, the being a force of nature, instead of a feverish, selfish little clod of ailments and grievances, complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy. I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the whole community, and as long as I live, it is my privilege to do for it whatever I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die, for the harder I work, the more I live. I rejoice in life for its own sake. Life is no brief candle for me. It is a sort of splendid torch which I have got hold of for the moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it on to future generations." And so I say to you this evening, as we light our candles, go forth and let your light shine. Let your love radiate. Let your light shine. And as we do that together this evening with each other, let us carry that memory with us as we leave here into Christmas Day and throughout the rest of this season and throughout the continuing of our lives. And so as we do this, I take it everybody has a candle. I would like to do it even though some of our candles are battery operated. I would like to do it from as though they are flamed and that you're lighting the one of your neighbors. So if we can start with the front row, I'm going to light my candle here. I'm going to come and light my... And I'll light yours too. And if anybody else needs a candle, please, again, raise your hand. All right. We're going to hum first. Please dim the lights. And we'll light the rose from the end to the end. Each side at a time. sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, darkness flies, shepherds heed, angels sing. Christ is Savior is born. Last verse. Holy night, Son of God, close your Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. Look around.
And so as you look at each other, take in these words, holy, for this is a holy night. It's a night in which we honor the great example and the great being of Jesus. Jesus who walked the earth and then learned his Christhood. And in that, knowing that each of us are holy. On this holy night, you are holy. For we all have Christ, the template of Christ. We are all divine in that image of Christ. And when we turn within and we allow ourselves to rest in the pause between our breaths and thoughts, in the silence of the holiness, we experience our own holiness. And it is then that we have the 12 lights that shine forth in our own thoughts, actions, and words. This is a holy night, and each of you are holy. And for that, we are eternally grateful and have eternal life. And so it is.
Would it? So, thank you all for Merry Christmas, and we're going to sing We Wish You a Merry Christmas to close out, but I want to make 2 announcements. One is there is a basket to return your candles on the table at the front door. If your candle is melting, go ahead and blow it out now. All right, and this Sunday, we are having our burning bowl and our letters to our future self. So release and renew on Sunday. No service. So just wanted to let you know to come New Year's Day. We'll have a potluck after. Tomorrow at 1 is Christmas dinner here, but no service in the morning, except online if you want to tune in for a short message. So. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. We're waiting for Christmas and a Happy New Year. We bring us a figgy Christmas, everybody. If anybody of the kids didn't get a cracker, come get your cracker. We've got crackers for you. All right.